Yes, ladies and gentlemen, episode 94 of Pokemon Horizons titled The Pokémon Center Lady just dropped, and in this episode, our heroes meet Mollie again. How does the reunion go? Let's talk about it. Our heroes are in a hotel of some sort eating and getting ready to rest when they overhear people in the lobby talking about how recently in a nearby forest, Pokemon are losing their strength and Pokemon Center is getting packed because of it. They decide to investigate. Meanwhile, we see in the Pokemon Center, Mollie's working there as a Pokemon Center Lady. She finishes her shift and her mom asks her how things went. Mollie responds, it's the same old, and she feels her cheek from smiling all day. Mollie isn't a smiley person usually, so that's not surprising. And when she gets a notification on her phone that the forest Pokemon are injured, she jumps straight into action despite her mom telling her she should probably rest. When Liko and Roy arrive at the forest, they're spooked by the darkness and eventually just go towards the noise. That's when they meet Mollie. They talk about what she's been doing since they've been apart, and she explains that she works in her mom's Pokemon Center. When Liko and Roy explain that they're reunited as the Voltacler, trying to resolve the Laquium issue, Mollie tells her that they shouldn't be calling themselves the Voltaclers anymore because that group has been disbanded. And we see a flashback of the moment that decision was made. However, Liko and Roy won't just get rid of that name because both of them have realized that the Voltaclers who they are. They talk about how they were able to convince the Nidothing fan from last episode that the Voltaclers aren't bad. That's what their goal is. They want to resolve the Laquium issue and get the truth of the Voltaclers. Mollie says that if that's the case, they should follow their heart. Then, they hear more stuff around them. When they go investigate, there's an entire group of Pokemon in the trail that have been poisoned. As Mollie goes around healing them, she notices pollen, meaning that the Pokemon doing this is a Vileplume. Mollie says that usually this Vileplume gets along with everyone, but that's when Roy notices the Laquium sign. And so, Liko and Roy have their Pokemon ready to battle. Crocalor and Meowscarada then go at the Vileplume, only to get toxic. Liko and Roy have their Pokemon attack from a distance, but the Vileplume is too powerful, so they recall them. Roy then brings out his Lucario since it can't get poisoned, and has it use Metal Claw, but Vileplume's Effect Spore paralyzes it. Liko then brings out Hatcham to hit it with Confusion from range, which does super effective damage, but isn't strong enough, and Vileplume is recovering health using Giga Drain on it. It has to be protected by Lucario from getting hit again, and the poison powder has to be sent away by Tidy Up from Mousehold and Kilowattrel flapping its wings. Liko encourages it, saying it can do it, and terrestrializes Hatcham into a Psychic type. That's when it uses Confusion, as Mousehold uses Follow Me to distract Vileplume. However, before it can be finished off, Hatcham feels Vileplume's feelings, and feels how bad it feels for hurting its friends. So, instead of attacking it, she wants to heal it. Everyone decides to trust Liko and Hatcham, so Hatcham uses Heal Pulse while flying on Kilowattrel. Then, it uses a new move, Healing Wish. Healing Wish causes the user to faint, and in return, the Pokemon's HP gets fully restored, and their status fully cured. And it seems to work, as Hatcham faints, and Vileplume also stops moving after being healed, allowing Terrapagos to absorb and get rid of the Laquium from Vileplume. Even though it's healed, the Vileplume is still exhausted, most likely due to the Laquium, so Mollie decides it's best to take it to the Pokemon Center to treat it. Inside, as they're waiting, Liko and Roy overhear someone talking about a new sphere that can be used in battle. That will be more important starting next episode. Mollie then brings back everyone's Pokemon, including the Vileplume, and asks Liko and Roy to take it back to the forest. However, before they do, Liko asks Mollie if she would like to join them. It would allow her to heal Pokemon around the world. However, Mollie says that she'll keep helping out here, as she's still learning things being here. However, she says that if the opportunity ever arrives to get back in a flying airship and go on an adventure, she will be back. As Mollie helps out another kid with their Pokemon, Liko and Roy talk about how cool Mollie is. When they take Vileplume back to the forest, it looks like it might not be able to go back since so many Pokemon might be scared after it attacked, but the Pokemon of the forest greet it, so all seems to end well. Cap then hears something and has our heroes go through the forest where they come across an Exceed Corporation building, and that's where we end the episode. It's interesting to watch how the team has changed since the disbandment of the Voltaclers. Mollie at the beginning of the Horizons was very adverse to being a traditional Pokemon Center Lady. However, now that she's done it for a while, she sees value in it. Her bringing up the idea that if there were another flying ship, she would be on board feels like foreshadowing. I could be wrong though. I do like that the Mousehold are with Mollie and helping her out. The Mousehold got their own special episode, and it always felt strange to me that no one ever caught them. They were just part of the ship's crew. But now that they're separated, the Mousehold presumably are Mollie's. I wonder if that means the other members of the Voltacler, the Pokemon I'm talking about, are other people's Pokemon. For example, does Murdoch have the Tatsugiri now? What about the rest of the Pokemon? Did they all get abandoned? Are they with someone? I would love to know. Even though this feels like a nothing episode, this episode is actually pretty important because it seemingly sets up the Laquium sphere arriving in the story. And from what Liko and Roy are overhearing, it's an item used in battle. The last time we saw a version of it, when Spinel used it on his Umbreon, it massively increased the Pokemon's strength while making it more feral. I wonder how much it's changed since then. And I wonder how much of the Pokemon are going crazy because of this thing. All of these will seemingly be answered as our heroes come across the Exceed building at the end of the episode, so I'm curious to see where the story is headed, especially with Urto, who will also seemingly have a Laquium sphere. Will he be helping out the explorers? I guess we'll just have to wait and find out. But what about you guys? What did you guys think about this episode? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more, and that's it. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.